Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. This is Accounting Nightmare. Welcome Alyosha, welcome Tag. Hopefully the microphone sounds alright. It sounded weird when I first plugged it in, so I had to unplug it and plug it back in. Okay, we're back up after our 2-day break. We were supporting the Amazon strike. So we're back now. There's a new bit alert I want to make, which is this sound. Get good! It's Hornet saying, "Get good!" from Hollow Knight. But I need to have a picture or something to go with it, so I'm still sorting that out. So I haven't got that one set up yet. Okay, so we're up to the final trial day in the final case of this original trilogy. Thanks Alyosha. Nice. Yeah, it must have been some kind of bug when I first plugged the microphone in. Okay, how many achievements do I have left? Only 2. Finish case 3-5 and finish the trilogy. Okay, excellent. Right. I don't know if we can finish this case today because I've heard the final trial day as like 3 different sections. So we'll just have to see how we go. Yeah, it would be nice to finish it today, but if it's too long, well, it's too long. Let's just see how we go. February 10, 9:35 AM. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 1. Alright, let's try and figure out what the heck was going on before we went on break. Right. We're defending Iris, who's accused of murdering Elise Downing, who's actually Misty Faye, as we found out. Too long is too long. What more can we say? Exactly. Yes, it turns out this was Maya's mother, which is a real shame. Also, Maya's still missing. It seems like she's locked in that cave, which we haven't managed to get the locks off of it yet, but we haven't seen her since she was stranded over there. So I hope she's still okay. So yeah, it seems like there was a plot organised by Morgan Fay to kill Misty. And she was gonna get Pearl to do it. Yeah, so it turns out Dahlia, Iris and Pearl are all sisters. They're all daughters of Morgan Fay. And Iris seems like she's good, and Dahlia is of course bad. She was executed after that, being found guilty of murder. And it seems like someone channeled her, and it seems like she might have been the one to kill Elise. And this was all orchestrated by Morgan Fay. She wanted Pearl to channel her, which is really messed up. She wanted Pearl to participate in a murder, even though she's 9 years old. Yeah, Morgan Fay is a monster. But Pearl said she couldn't channel her, so it seems like someone else might have channeled her, but I don't know who. Like, Maya's the only one I can think of, but why would she channel her? I don't know. Yeah. Well, we'll just let the story unfold. Like when you have trouble finding a certain enemy to learn an ability. Yeah, that did look frustrating. Alright. Good morning. Oh, are you by yourself? Morning, Pearls. But Mr. Nick, please tell me, what's going to happen to Mystic Maya? I'm sorry. We don't know yet. Yeah, go for it if you want, Alyosha. The investigation is still going on, so I wasn't allowed into the inner temple. Oh, I see. So is Sister Iris still trying to remove those trick locks in the training hall? No, she's a defendant in this case, so she can't be at the inner temple. She's required to be here in court. Then how come she's not here in the defendant's lobby? I have to admit it's kind of strange. I'm gonna guess this is Edgeworth? If you're looking for Iris, she's in the prosecutor's lobby. Edgeworth? What's Iris doing over there? She's going over today's testimony with the prosecutor as we speak. Today's testimony? You heard me. Iris is going to be testifying as a witness for the prosecution. Wait, what? The prosecutor is squeezing her for a confession. Or so I heard. Franziska von Karma, what are you up to? I know what you're thinking, but Franziska isn't going to be the prosecutor today. What? Then who is? Who do you think, Phoenix? Who do you think? Who else would it be but Godot? Godot? Franziska is engaged in some important work at the Sacred Cavern. The Sacred Cavern? You don't mean that she's... Exactly. She has been out there all night, trying to remove those trick locks. With the head nun's assistance, naturally. We estimate that the last of the locks should be taken care of in about 3 hours. I hope everything continues to go smoothly and we will receive some good news soon. 3 hours, eh? Sounds like that'll be at the end of our court session. Or during our court session. Yeah, thanks, Edgeworth. Prosecutor Godot intends to nail this case shut today. Be prepared to fight like there's no tomorrow. You don't have to tell me that. Touché. I can already see it in your eyes. You are not the same fever-ridden, frantic maniac you were yesterday. Frantic maniac. It's strange. On the way here, I decided that today would be the end of all this. Almost immediately after I made that decision, I felt myself getting stronger. Interesting. Maybe you've passed your cold onto someone else. Literally. And with that, I leave the rest in your capable hands, partner. Aww. Thanks. I still don't have answers for most of the riddles plaguing this case. The circumstances around the murder of Miss Elise Downham... No, I mean Miss Misty Fey. The impossible flight Larry claims to have seen. Oh yeah, I kind of forgot about that part. And what that woman is really after. I will solve them all and bring this whole tragedy to an end. February 10, 10 AM. District Court, Courtroom number 7. Court is now in session for the trial of Iris of Hazakura Temple. Now we've got the normal judge back again. The usual judge. Your Honour? What are you... Who? Me? Well, my little brother came to visit me in my chambers early this morning. That's his brother? All of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, he developed a scorching fever and fainted. Therefore, I'll be standing in for him. I see, Your Honour. So they're brothers. That explains a lot. So Phoenix somehow passed his cold onto the other judge. My poor brother. He looked a bit pale. Not to mention sad that he couldn't be here. It is impossible to predict what the future has in store for any of us. This is precisely why people feel the need to judge the past. And we of the court have been charged with the solemn duty of passing such judgment. Well said, Mr. Godot. I understood exactly what you said. At least up until the end, anyway. Now then, Mr. Godot, please proceed with your opening statement. Humans are fragile, fickle beings. Our hearts change with the shifting of the tides. There is only one thing that remains a constant in this crazy world. The bitter darkness that lies at the bottom of this mug. So then, you mean... forget it. What do you mean? During yesterday's trial, the accused refused to admit her role in the crime. But today, she has had a change of heart. Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple has a confession to make. Confession? The defendant? Iris. Why didn't she discuss this with me first? Very well. This court will now hear the defendant's confession. Upon meeting a beautiful lady, always ask for her name and profession. That's one of my rules. My name is Iris. I am but a simple nun undergoing training at Hazakura Temple. Witness, is there something that you want to confess to? Yes. But first, I want to apologize to Mr. Wright. I can't continue lying to everyone anymore. It's alright. What is it? Mr. Wright, I have to admit that I did play a part in this terrible incident. Are you actually confessing? Are you saying that you were the one who murdered Miss Elise Downham? No, I'm not, Your Honour. But I dealt with the cover-up after the murder took place. After her spirit left, I took the lifeless shell of Mystic Elise and carried it to the Hazakura Temple courtyard, where I desecrated it. What? What the heck? Order in the court. Order! Witness? Are you saying you were an accomplice to the murder? Yes, that's correct. What? 3 minutes in court and I'm already covered in a cold sweat. Ha. Everyone on the planet is an accomplice to something. It just happens to be that in this case, it's to murder. Isn't that right, Mr. Trite? Grr, that Godot. So this is the confession they were conferring about. It pains me to say this, but it looks like Iris's testimony was all a lie. Iris's testimony crumpled up and shoved into a pocket. Now then, little lady, if you don't mind, I've got a question for you. Whose crime were you trying to cover up by your actions? Iris was covering for someone. Oh, now I'm definitely up the creek without a paddle. Or a life jacket. I've been at Hazakura Temple ever since I was a little girl. Hazakura Temple is run by one of the branch families of the Kurine tradition. One of our missions is to protect the main family. I'm sorry, but main family? Yes, and that's why I would dirty myself, if need be, to protect her. The daughter of the master of the Kurine channeling technique, Mystic Maya Fey. Huh? Wake up and smell the coffee, trite. She's naming Maya? Order! Order in the court! So not only did you witness the murder, you know the name of the murderer? Oh my god, poor Maya. I'm terribly sorry, but it's true. I saw her commit the crime with my very own eyes. And then I cleaned up the area to try to protect her. That's ridiculous. Maya could never do such a... The defense will refrain from commenting until the appropriate time. Now, witness, let's hear your testimony. What exactly happened on the night of the crime? Yes, Your Honour. I thought I was prepared for the unexpected, but I never imagined the case would wind up going in this direction. What the heck? What is going on? I don't remember. I'm gonna drink some water. The real murderer. I went to the inner temple that night and I saw it all happen in the garden. I saw Mystic Elise strike Mystic Maya with her staff. While Mystic Maya was still stumbling, Mystic Elise moved in to deliver a fatal strike. Mystic Maya tried desperately to defend herself and stole the weapon. It was only in self-defense. You can't blame her for it. What the heck? So it was in self-defense? Yes. Mr. Elise was the one who attacked first. That's why I tried my best to protect Mystic Maya. You moved the victim's body to the temple so that Maya wouldn't be suspected. Hey, Sneejan, welcome. Isn't that right? Not bad. You've got the instincts of a true criminal. Something's not quite right. I'm sure it was established yesterday that Iris never went to the inner temple that night. And that the person who did go was that woman. Iris even admitted it. Now then, Mr. Wright, please proceed with your cross-examination. This is weird. I went to the inner temple that night, and I saw it all happen in the garden. Sister Iris, your testimony has changed quite a bit since yesterday. You stated yesterday that, on the night of the murder, you didn't go to the inner temple. Objection. Did she now? Too bad for you. What she said yesterday doesn't mean much today. By the way, where were you when she claimed that she didn't go? It was in the inner temple's training hall. A private conversation between the two of you does not constitute testimony. That would be properly described as hearsay. Welcome, amigo. It's like she's going out of her way to make a testimony full of holes for Phoenix to tear apart. Interesting. I'll have to see where this goes. What do you have to say, witness? I just couldn't tell him the truth at that time. Mystic Maya, she's your girlfriend, isn't she? I didn't want to be the one to break it to you that I saw her commit murder. There. We all understand how difficult this is for you. Now then, let's continue with the testimony. What did you witness in the temple garden? Well, Your Honor... Wait, does he actually think that Maya is his girlfriend? Yeah, seems like we wrapped up the investigation last time. So yeah, now it's back to Phoenix versus Godot. And this should be the final trial day. I don't know if we can finish it today, because it's quite long, but we'll see how far we can get. I saw Mystic Elise strike Mystic Maya with her staff. Yeah, so we just started, really. So Iris is giving this testimony, saying she was an accomplice to the murder, and she's now saying that Maya was the murderer. I have no idea where this came from, so we'll have to see why she's saying this. You're saying that the victim attacked Miss Faye? Yes. It was a truly frightening scene. Mystic Maya was struck hard on the head, and it looked like she was going to collapse. What were you doing at the time? Why didn't you stop them from fighting? I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Wright. I was frightened. I couldn't move. I couldn't even speak. I was in such shock. That's perfectly understandable, my dear. This doesn't sound right. I don't believe this testimony for a minute. What happened after that? While Mystic Maya was still stumbling, Mystic Elise moved in to deliver a fatal strike. She moved in to deliver a fatal strike? Yes, I'm sure of it. She threw down her staff and reached into her robe for a weapon. Wait a minute. What was this weapon? It was some kind of dagger. A dagger, huh? And Elise Downham tried to stab her with this weapon? To kill Miss Faye? Yes, exactly. Ha. You look like I did after I mistakenly took a swig of Worcestershire sauce. Do you have a problem with the testimony we're hearing from your client, lawyer boy? Do I have a problem with Iris's testimony? Nah. That's fine. Iris is my client. I'd better not press her too hard. The defense has no objection to Miss Iris's testimony. Ha. You should try some nice, sweet cafe con leche. I don't know how to pronounce that. At least once, try it. Very well. Let's continue with your testimony. What happened to Miss Fay when she was attacked by the victim? So I'm assuming we're pointing out... I'm assuming that we're going to reveal here that Elise had a weapon hidden in her staff, so she wouldn't need to go for a dagger. But Gumshoe didn't actually get this tested, did he? We don't know if there was any blood on it. Whoops. We probably should have done that. Oh dear. That's kind of a mistake by Phoenix and Gumshoe. Yeah, I'll come back to that one though. Mystic Maya tried desperately to defend herself and stole the weapon. Hey Vertigo, how are ya? And then? Mystic Maya, she turned things around and then she used the weapon she had taken and lunged forward for a strike. Witness, are you absolutely certain? Yes, but believe me, she had no choice. If Mystic Maya hadn't done something... Maya Fay's name would have been written on this autopsy report instead. Yes, I see. This is bad. I still can't put the pieces together. Unless I find a contradiction in her testimony, Maya's going to get blamed for this. I only have this to say. It was only in self-defense. You can't blame her for it. Good. That's good to hear, Vertigo. So you're saying Maya Fay was the one who stabbed Miss Elise Downham. Sister Iris, is that really what you saw? Yes. Try it. If your mug is filled with black and bitter suspicions, the only way to get rid of them is to drink them down quick. Like this! I know that's supposed to be a metaphor, but I don't get it. There's only one thing you need to get, Trite. It's called evidence. Now hurry up, before my next cup gets cold. What does that mean? Is Godot waiting for me to point out the contradictions? I'd like to avoid the whole spirit channeling thing if I can. Not only would it be inadmissible as evidence, but I think it might actually hurt our standing with the judge. First I need to pick her testimony apart and expose the unnatural sounding parts. I don't know why Iris would tell a story like this, but there are two things I noticed that just don't add up. Two things, eh? Well, the thing I noticed was, like, why would she go for a dagger? I'll try pointing that out. Oh, actually, no, wait. I'll go for that option where we can say we don't like the sound of her testimony. So I'm wondering if Godot somehow knows about the staff and he's trying to set a trap to make us present it, maybe? There is one thing. Your Honour, I have a small problem with the witness's testimony. You do? But this witness is your own client. Yes, well, nevertheless... That's fine. Witness, let's add your last statement to the testimony. Yes, sir? Hey, just a moment. It's my job to say that. Listen, Cramps. I won't say it again. Final judgment will be rendered by me. Just kick him out the courtroom. He's showing great disrespect to the judge. Okay now, let's continue. She threw her staff away and pulled a dagger from inside her robe. She threw her staff away? Mystic Elise was trying to kill Mystic Maya. I think that's why she wanted a more lethal weapon. It's true. It's not easy to inflict a deadly blow with a staff. Sister Iris, let me make sure I've got this straight. The victim herself chose to throw away her staff? Yes, that's what I saw. Is there anything odd about that, Mr. Wright? Yeah, it's odd, alright. Mr. Galeese attacked Mystic Maya with a dagger. I'm sure of this. Then where is this dagger, eh? There. Sister Iris, there's something strange about your version of events. Huh? Miss Downing throwing her staff away makes no sense at all to me. But all you can do with the staff is hit someone. Naturally, you wouldn't know this, Sister Iris, but the victim's staff had a special feature about it. As you can see, it's a sword. Ah! If Elise Downing really had wanted to kill Maya Fey, she wouldn't have needed to use a separate dagger. Not when she already had a beautiful blade in her hands already. Well, Sister Iris, what do you have to say? Yeah, the poor judge is always getting pushed around by the prosecution. He needs to stand up to them. That was an impressive bit of investigating, Trite. I never would have thought there was a sword hidden in that staff. But even so, how should I put this? A long sword is unwieldy, and thus quite ineffective in close quarters combat. Maybe that's why she chose a dagger over her blade. Well? Anyway, the type of weapon she chose to use isn't what's important. The important thing is that she tried to kill Maya Fey. As long as there's nothing strange about that, there's no problem with her testimony. But there is something strange about this whole testimony. Well, Mr. Wright, the prosecution has a point. Very well, Your Honour. The defence will now present evidence to back its argument. Okay. Even if spirit channeling was admissible as evidence, how would that even work legally? How would you punish a dead person? Yeah, it's really strange, isn't it? that would bring up a whole new complicated mess. But, Mr. Wright, I have here another piece of evidence that shows that this testimony can't be trusted. Because Miss Elise Downing would never attempt to take the life of Maya Fey. Because of my badge. Well, Mr. Godot, if you ask me, the only thing that seems strange is the angle of Mr. Trite's index finger. Huh? Trite, sticking your finger in an electrical outlet might be safer for you. Otherwise, it might get bitten off the next time you poke it in the wrong place. Oh. And then he just takes the penalty himself. I still don't think that Miss Downing would ever attack Maya. If you think about their relationship, it's obvious. Why don't you think it over one more time? I'm guessing we're going for the angle where we're proving that she's her mother. I think we're going for the Crown Master Talisman. Because that's the actual evidence that she is the mother, right? Yeah, I think that's what we're going for. Well, Mr. Godot? Oh, this isn't right? No, that wasn't right. Your sleeves are covered in tears? What do you mean, Vertigo? Alright, well. Are we presenting her profile? Maybe? Ah, okay. Elise Downing would never have attacked Maya Fey. How could you be so sure? Because the victim's real name was not Elise Downing. Her real name was Misty Fey. Fey? Ah, no, not Misty Fey. Who is this Misty Fey? Is she related to... Misty Fey is the master of the Quran channeling technique. She is also the mother of Maya Fey. Are you serious? Is it really true, Mr. Wright? Wait, did she not know? Oh, jeez. Oh, your eyes are watering? Oh. Sorry to hear that, Vertigo. Is it maybe allergies or something? Something in the air? Was Elise Downham actually the great mystic Misty? There's no doubt about it. It looks like Iris had no idea. I can hardly believe it. The idea that she would try to kill her only daughter, one she hadn't seen in 17 years. Perhaps the prosecution can offer some explanation for why she would do such a thing. Order in the court. Upon first hearing the witness's testimony, it seemed natural enough. However, in light of some facts that have just been presented. 1. That the victim supposedly threw away a sword during the fight. And 2. That the two people battling to the death were mother and daughter, despite the facts being believable when taken on their own. When taken together, the entire story seems difficult to believe. Nice, thank you, Judge. Oh yeah, I think Bikini knew. Yeah, she knew. I guess she didn't tell Iris? Listen, there's nothing in this world that is impossible. Except for one little thing. Yes? What is this one little impossible thing? Ha! You still don't get it. Let me guess, you want me to prove that it was Misty? You think maybe my beans are under-roasted, but you have no idea, Gramps. Could you get to your point? I heard this witness's confession this morning. Just as I had taken the first sip of my 8th cup of morning coffee. Jesus, stop! Stop drinking so much coffee! That's really unhealthy. You're going to ruin your health, my friend. Agreed. Anyway, after hearing this woman's confession, I had a detective who loves to investigate sent to the scene of the crime. And he discovered this little beauty. Where the heck did he find that? Is that the dagger the witness testified to seeing? Obviously, Your Honor. But do you not notice something else? Now that you mention it, if you look closely, there appears to be blood on it. Where did you find that? I didn't see that when I investigated the crime scene. Did you investigate the pine tree at the crime scene? Huh? The pine tree? This dagger was stuck in the backside of the pine tree. When the last blow was struck, ending the violent battle between the two women, this little baby was thrown in the direction of the back of the pine tree. Which means the blood on this dagger belongs to the victim, correct? Ha! Were you even listening, old man? I first heard this confession this morning, just as I had taken the first sip of my 13th cup of morning coffee. The number's going up. Did you just say it was your 8th just a few minutes ago? I didn't have enough time to get the blood analysed on such short notice. In any case, the court will accept the dagger as evidence. Furthermore, I order that a blood test be performed on it immediately. This is my sweetheart. Make sure you treat her right. Bailiff, get this piece of evidence to the crime lab for testing immediately. And can we test the sword while we're at it? Please? Dagger found behind a tree in the inner temple garden. The blood is being analysed now. Now then. The testimony we've just heard had numerous unbelievable aspects to it. However, after having found the very dagger the witness spoke of, I believe we can consider her testimony to be credible. Cute girls never lie. Ever. In any case, witness, if you could please testify again to this court. About what, Your Honor? About the incident you saw. The battle between the two women. Yes, Your Honor. Hey, Panicking. Welcome.
Shall we dance?
Welcome, Doom Guy, and thanks for the host. No worries, Panicking. Sorry to hear you had trouble sleeping. Hope you have a better night's sleep tonight. Did you miss the part where Godot was a jerk to Francisca? Yeah, that was in the investigation, the last investigation segment. Wasn't Iris a defendant? Yeah, she's still the defendant, but she's now doing a confession. We're not sure why. She had a discussion with Godot, and now she's confessing to be a conspirator in the crime. She's now claiming that Maya was the murderer, and that she helped Maya cover it up. I have no idea why she's suddenly saying this. So we're now trying to tear her testimony apart to get to the truth. The battle. Mystic Maya stumbled briefly after being hit over the head with the staff. But then she dodged Mystic Elise's next attack and stole her weapon. Suddenly Mystic Elise was the one on the defensive, with her back to the stone lantern. That's when Mystic Maya stabbed Mystic Elise. Mystic Elise managed to fling the knife away, but then she collapsed. That was a very heartbreaking story. I don't know if there were any bad feelings between them, but it had been 17 years since Mystic Misty's disappearance. Perhaps they simply didn't recognize each other anymore. That seems reasonable. Then what's the motive for murder? Hello, motive, please? Motive? Now then, Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination. Mystic Maya stumbled briefly after being hit over the head with the staff. Iris, where were you standing when you witnessed all of this? What do you mean? Well, if either of them had noticed you, they might not have continued their battle. I wonder if that's true. The two of them, they were standing near the garden stone lantern. I was watching the whole thing from behind. It was dark where the two of them were, so I think that's why they didn't see me. So it was dark in the garden when the murder took place. Tell me, what did Miss Maya Fey do after she was struck? But then she dodged Mystic Elise's next attack and stole her weapon. But what happened to the victim's staff then? I'm not sure. The area was very dark, so I really couldn't see. I think it got knocked away somewhere as the fight escalated. That makes sense. That would explain the need for the dagger. Mystic Elise raised the dagger to strike, but Mystic Maya dodged it at the last second. The dagger struck the lantern and fell to the ground. And then at some point, Mystic Maya picked it up. Nothing sounds especially strange yet. Now all this sounds strange to me. What did the victim do when the weapon was stolen from her? Ah, thanks, Doom Guy. I'm really glad that my LP videos helped you. Fan art. Fan art of how we wish the moment Godot was a jerk to Francisca went down. Ooh. Nice. That's good, amigo. I'll show that on stream. Yeah, I completely agree. I don't know why it didn't go this way. That's really good. Thank you, amigo. Suddenly, Mystic Elise was the one on the defensive, with her back to the stone lantern. You're saying that Maya Fey turned the tables on the victim? Yes. But Mystic Maya wasn't herself at the time. After all, her life was in danger. I still can't believe it. The idea of Maya cornering someone at knife point is just silly. As they say, a cornered fox is more dangerous than a jackal. I believe the correct description of a cornered fox is scared and petrified. Your animal analogies have grown tiresome. You were the one who started it. Anyway, so after Maya Fey backed the victim into the stone lantern, what happened next? That's when Mystic Maya stabbed Mystic Elise. Are you absolutely certain that's what you saw? Yes, I'm almost certain. Almost? The garden was dark. I couldn't really tell who was who. What did she just say? So in other words, it could have been someone else entirely? Objection. We know that Maya Fey was at the inner temple that night, and that the woman that was killed was Elise Downham. Isn't it fairly obvious who attacked who? Nah, I don't have anything to counter that yet. Well then, witness, please continue with your testimony. Yes, Your Honour. The two of them faced each other for a moment. Then Mystic Maya rushed straight into Mystic Elise. Then Mystic Elise doubled over and fell to the ground. So she was stabbed in the stomach, huh? Yes. Mystic Elise managed to fling the knife away, but then she collapsed. There's the autopsy. She was stabbed in the back. Mystic Elise managed to fling the knife away, but then she collapsed. Where did that dagger go? I have no idea. It was dark and I couldn't see. According to the detective who found the dagger, it was stuck into the pine tree in the garden. Most likely it was flung towards the tree after the struggle. That is the most likely explanation, yes. After being stabbed in the stomach, did the victim collapse right away? Now when I think of it, she seemed to stare at Mystic Maya for a while. And Mystic Maya stood there, not moving an inch. It felt for a moment like time had just stopped. But then, suddenly, as if the spell had worn off, Mystic Elise fell over. It seems like a reasonable story at first. But there's one thing that is completely impossible. The very idea of Maya stabbing someone. That alone is impossible, which means this faulty testimony must contain another contradiction in it somewhere. Save. Yeah, if the Magatama worked in court, we'd be seeing a million locks by now. Yeah. It's a shame it doesn't work in court. Yeah, well. Objection! Something about you just isn't right today, Iris. Huh? Until now, I didn't think you were the type to make such a careless mistake. However, the testimony you just gave contains quite a few contradictions. What do you mean? What's so wrong about my testimony? According to you, Maya Fey stabbed the victim while she had her back to the stone lantern, correct? Yes, that's right. But in that case, the victim would have been stabbed in the stomach, right? Yes, I think so. But, according to the autopsy report, the cause of death was due to blood loss from a stab wound in her back. Huh. This proves that the victim was stabbed from behind, not from the front. Sister Iris, it appears another seed of doubt has sprouted from your testimony. Ah! Yeah, oh don't worry, DMC3 was pretty hard, Doom Guy. Definitely takes some practice. What? What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? Ha, it's simple. People are like books. We've all got a front and a back. You get my drift? Is that all you have to say? I can also say that darkness loves to play with the human mind. Could you please knock it off with the cheesy proverbs and illogical metaphors already? The point is, too much of this testimony just doesn't make sense. Throwing away her useful staff, the people fighting being mother and daughter. And now, she falsely claims the victim was stabbed in the stomach. There certainly are some inconsistencies. Well, Iris, how about it? Well, it's just... If you ask me, you're just being too naive about the whole thing. What do you mean? There are 253 distinct types of bitterness in coffee, but to pick out each one requires total concentration and the use of all the senses. Were you really concentrating on what this witness actually said? Prosecutor Godot, explain yourself. The witness was quite unambiguous about her own ambiguities when she said that the garden was dark and she couldn't see clearly. A human needs one thing to see clearly, and that is light. Light. By the way, did you know? Hazakura has a rule that on nights when an acolyte is at the inner temple training, the stone lantern in the garden must be kept lit. I thought it was the other way around. I did wonder what that stone lantern was there for. Well, if that's true, shouldn't the witness have been able to see the crime more clearly? Normally, yes, Your Honor. But according to the head nun, Sister Bikini, on the night of the crime, it was impossible to light that stone lantern. Impossible? It hadn't been used in a long time and the wick was no good. In other words, it had to have been nearly pitch black in the garden that night. There could have been a faint light coming from the training hall, but that's all. Most enlightening. I get it. Yes, that illuminating fact has chased all the contradictions away. If the staff was dropped, it would be difficult to see. It also explains why they didn't recognize each other. We can't see the demons that lurk in the night. That's why humans are weak. Isn't that right, trite? No! Doesn't make any sense. No, it just all works out because she couldn't see properly. So what, we're just gonna take her word that it was those two people there and like she saw a dagger but she... Also, what is the motive if they didn't even recognize each other? Order! 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 Here, Your Honor. Let me present the stone lantern into evidence. Maybe it will rekindle the flame of truth in your mind. There we go. I was wondering why this wasn't in evidence before. Stone lantern, a lantern from the inner temple garden, was not lit the night of the crime. Why is the judge just sitting there with that look on his face? Do we have anything about the other lanterns? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, 'cause I thought those were lit. What's wrong, Your Honor? Was that flame too hot? This lantern? There's something written on it. Why, it's written in blood. Oh boy. So the judge didn't know about that yet. Written in blood? It says Maya upside down. What the?
Oh, yes, that's right. After being cornered and then stabbed by Mystic Maya. Mystic Elise didn't fall down right away. She must have been riding that on the stone lantern behind her. With the blood that was draining out of her body.
It certainly looks that way. That's the second time that Godot doesn't seem to have noticed something red. Would I say that the final boss in DMC3 is the hardest boss in all the DMC games, or is that just you? He's definitely up there. Yeah, him. It's hard to pick between him and DMD Mundus 2 in DMC1. Because he's also just a nightmare. It certainly looks that way. Hang on just a minute. What are you all talking about? What do you mean, what are we all talking about?
We're talking about the message written in blood.
Ha! Nonsense! This lantern, it's as clean as a whistle.
Could it be?
He can't see the bloody writing at all? Now that I think of it, he did say something to me yesterday. My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything. So that's what he meant by that. In any case, this is obviously an important clue. We now know that the crime scene was dark, and that the victim scrawled this message on the stone lantern. Well, Mr. Godot, anything further? Mr. Godot? This helps his case, so I don't know why he's like freaking out about it. I guess he didn't know it was there, so he couldn't plan for it, but it helps his case. Okay then, let's move on. Godot is literally shaking, and somehow I don't think it's from caffeine overdose. I believe it has now been established that Miss Downham was killed by Maya Fey.
That's just wrong.
Now it's time to turn our attention to you.
Yes, sir.
After the victim died, you did something, didn't you? Let's hear it. We're all ears. Sister Iris's cover-up.
After Mystic Elise died, I called out to Mystic Maya. I thought it was my duty to protect the future master of the Quran tradition. So I removed the body from the inner temple by myself. I dragged it behind me all the way across Dusky Bridge. Then I used the snowmobile to carry it back to Hazakura Temple, and I used the Shichishito to alter the way the wound looked.
So you moved the body?
Yes. I was raised at Hazakura Temple. I owe a great deal of thanks to the Fey clan. But even so, I never imagined that Elise Downham was actually Misty Fey. I've committed a terrible sin.
A terrible trick of fate. I believe you're looking for Twist of Fate, Your Honor.
I intended to return to the inner temple after taking care of the body. But
you were spotted by the head nun, correct?
Yes, and that's why I couldn't go back.
Your story makes sense, I suppose. Mr. Wright, go ahead with your cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. What's Elise's name pun? Elias pseudonym. Oh, wow. Okay, I like that pun. Yeah, that is well hidden. Sister Iris's cover-up. After Mystic Elise died, I called out to Mystic Maya. So you waited until everything was over before making a move? No, it's not like that. She saw someone murdered right in front of her eyes. It's not surprising that she was a little timid. Yes, I suppose that's true. Sometimes when I'm watching lawyers argue back and forth with each other, I feel so helpless that I just sit quietly and wait for them to reach a conclusion. Isn't it your job as the judge to mediate the argument? It wasn't until Mystic Maya saw me that it finally dawned on her what she had done. I thought it was my duty to protect the future master of the Quran tradition. So then, you knew? You knew the significance of the name Maya Fey? Yes, of course I did. That's odd. I mean, Sister Bikini didn't recognise Maya's name, let alone her position. Anyway, she was a very special person indeed. So I removed the body from the inner temple by myself. Yeah, Maya's still missing at this point. Why did you do that? Because I didn't want Mystic Maya to be suspected in any way. I thought the best thing would be to remove the body from the crime scene. You moved her body all by yourself? Yes, I did. It would have been impossible if it wasn't for the snow. The snow, huh? I dragged it behind me all the way across Dusky Bridge. It's pretty amazing you could make it all the way across. That's a rickety old bridge. It looks worse than it is. It's surprisingly sturdy despite its age. It's like they say, idiots are too stupid to catch even a simple cold. What? But there's one other thing that bothers me. Why not just throw the body into the Eagle River? It would have been much easier than dragging it all the way to Hazakura Temple. I thought that it would still cast too much suspicion on Mystic Maya. That's why I tried to take the body as far away as possible. Ha! Makes perfect sense to me. For the time being. Anyway, what did you do after you crossed the bridge? Yeah, Godot just said Nick wasn't an idiot. Yeah. Then I used the snowmobile to carry it back to Hazakura Temple and... The snowmobile? I knew that would show up sooner or later. Yes, I had the key. I used the snowmobile to travel from Hazakura Temple to Dusky Bridge. This is the part that was in question the other day. Should I ask for more details? I'll come back to this one. Forget it. There's plenty of other things to go after in this testimony. Iris had the key to the snowmobile. There's nothing strange about that. Very well then, let's continue with the testimony. So, you transported the body by snowmobile? All the way to the Hazakura Temple courtyard? Yes, I thought that way Mystic Maya would never be suspected. That's what I thought anyway. And then I used the Shichishito to alter the way the wound looked. Is that what you were doing when Sister Bikini saw you? Yes, that's right. She probably thought the worst. Probably? Well, like, definitely. I see. So Sister Bikini mistakenly thought you were the one that murdered Miss Downim. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. It's my fault that this case has gotten so confusing. I don't want to believe it, but I don't think my logic is failing me. Iris is trying to pin the murder on Maya. But why would she want to do that? There's only one reason I can think of. One reason you can think of. I can't think of that reason. Alright, let's try and... yeah, let's press on this one and check out these other options. Do-do, do. About the tracks. If you really did move her body by snowmobile, then there should be tracks left in the snow, right? Well, yes, naturally you would expect tracks. This picture was presented at yesterday's trial. Are these the tracks from that ride? Yes, I think they are. But I can only see one set of tracks here. I don't see what's so strange about that. Snow was still falling when I left Hazakura Temple. I see. Snow was still falling, huh? And then when the murder took place, it had already stopped. That's why there are such fresh-looking tracks. How about it, Mr. Wright? What do you think about this testimony? Important? When the murder took place, the snow had already stopped. That doesn't make sense if you stack it up against the other evidence. Your Honour, I'd like the statement Iris just made added to the testimony. But does it have something to do with the case? All will be made clear if you allow her statement to be added to the record. Ha. This should be fun. Let's get this snow business cleared up, shall we? Yes, sir. By the time the murder took place, the snow had already stopped. Okay, I'll see what happens if we go the other option. Do we get the same thing or get something different? Ask about the snowmobile. Let me hear more about this snowmobile ride. Well, it was very cold that night, so I rode it all the way to the foot of the bridge. I'm sorry, witness, but now I've got a problem with your testimony. Godot has. Excuse me? Godot? What are you up to now? That night, after the head nun left the remainder of the training to you, she said she walked from the inner temple back to Hazakura Temple. Yes, I'm fairly certain that's what the record indicates. Let's recall her comments on the subject. Maybe, but when I made it back to Hazakura Temple, it was there, by the main gate. The snowmobile, I mean. The snowmobile was in front of the main gate. This is one of those contradictions, wouldn't you say? Why is he pointing that out? Interesting. But order! Mr. Godot! But why are you pointing out contradictions in the witness's testimony? Let's just say I like things to be neat and tidy, okay? Well, maybe Sister Bikini missed it. Yes, maybe she didn't see it. Do you think she missed it? That doesn't sound right. Ha! Whatever. Even I don't think this is decisive enough to warrant any more time or effort. It's just... you'd better be careful in your testimony. That's all I wanted to say. A smart little cookie like you shouldn't have any trouble understanding that. Yes, sir. What was that all about? Why would Godot want to give me a hint? Very well then, let's continue with the testimony. So, you transported the body by snowmobile? All the way to the Hazakura Temple courtyard? Yes. So I'm guessing he knew that was an obvious contradiction and he was trying to gain favour by pointing it out and while also like hinting at her to be more careful. Okay. That was interesting. That was very optional dialogue. Weird. Sister Bikini's name pun makes more sense in the Japanese version. Ah, what is it? Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Yes, add it to the testimony. The snow had stopped. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. Save. By the time the murder took place, the snow had already stopped. There have been a lot of contradictions in your testimony so far. This time, are you sure it's all true? Yes, I am. When the murder happened, the snow had already stopped. According to you, that's why the snowmobile tracks were so clear. That's right. I'm certain of it. I think I've trapped her this time. I see how you think. Snow, huh? What is going on here? If the snow really had stopped by the time of the murder, it'd mean there's a bigger hole in her story than that movie, The Grid Revelations. What? That's a very specific reference to a movie I've never heard of. Bikini are more or less the term for nuns in Buddhism. Bikini bikini is just something cool sounding she came up with. Ah. Okay, that's cool. Ha. Well then, Mr. Trite, perhaps you'd like to share your theory with us. Sure. Sure I will. Let's see what's up your sleeve. Or rather, at the end of your index finger. I don't want to believe it, but I don't think my logic is failing me. Yeah, trying to pin the murder on Maya. That sure is a reference. Yeah, that's a weird reference. Has anyone here seen that movie? Why is Can anyone explain that reference? Alright, the snow had stopped. We still have the weirdness with there being just an empty patch around the lantern, but that's not part of this evidence, so I don't think we can do anything with that yet. That hasn't been entered into evidence. Bum, bum, bum. Ah, but this was half buried in snow. Also, there's the whole fact that Larry apparently saw the victim flying over the bridge, and that doesn't match with this at all. Are we just ignoring this sketch for now? I guess we are. Hang on, I need some water. Had they end up explaining this contradiction? I forget about how she got stabbed in the back. I think it was just, oh, it was dark, so I couldn't tell. Which is, yeah, that sure is something to say in court. Yeah, the snow stopped after the lightning struck the bridge, so the bridge should have been on fire. Fire! Save, and I'll try present that. Fire! That's not right? Really? But the bridge would have been on fire. That's weird. Well, wouldn't that be right? Yeah, I don't know. Is okay. I guess it's something else. That's nothing to do with it. That's weird. I'll be going for the fact that this was half buried in snow. No, like either one of those should have worked in terms of the story. Was this buried in snow? I don't think it was. That wasn't buried in snow. Ah, I don't think that actually contradicts anything. Never mind. I didn't think that part through. contradiction went up in flames halfway across the bridge, yeah. Oh yeah, maybe it's because the... She didn't say anything about bringing the stuff back? I don't know. The painting? The sketch? No? Weird? Very weird. I am confused. So the contradiction should be here, because this is the new statement we unlocked. Unless this is just a red herring. Well, maybe instead I'll go for... She dragged it all the way behind her across Dusky Bridge. Maybe we'll try presenting it here, that it was on fire. Maybe that other thing's just a red herring for now. I'll try the weather data first. Okay. Interesting. Okay. I got caught by a red herring. No worries, Tag. I hope you feel better soon. You claimed that the snow had already stopped when the murder occurred. But I'm sorry, Iris. That just isn't possible. What? Okay, so you have to unlock that statement and then present it here. Interesting. That's not designed all that well. It's a little confusing. This is the weather data from the night of the murder. According to this, the snow didn't stop until 10:50 PM. But you couldn't have crossed Dusky Bridge at that time. Why do you say that? Because 5 minutes before the snow stopped, Dusky Bridge was struck by lightning and it caught on fire. What did you say? The bridge... it was on fire? You don't mean to say you didn't know about it? It was because of that lightning strike that the bridge burned down. What? But it can't be. It looks like you still haven't figured it out. No matter how hard you try to deceive or conceal the truth, you can't pull the wool over the eyes of a real defense attorney. No! That's weird. She should have known about that. Hey, Shizzle, how are ya? Order! 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 The bridge was already on fire when the incident took place. That's right, the inner temple was already totally cut off from the outside world. There's no way you could have crossed the bridge, body or no body. Witness, even my patience has its limits. What did you miss? Okay, so what's happened so far is Iris has taken the stand. Like, she was talking to Godot before the trial, and now for some reason, she is trying to pin it on Maya. Yeah, she's saying she saw Maya stab Elise in the, like, across the bridge. Where the stone lantern is. Yeah, she's claiming she saw that happen, and then she's claiming she helped cover up the crime to protect Maya. Because, you know, Maya's part of the main family, and she wants to protect the main family, so but it's obvious she's lying and making all this up, and I have no idea why. So we're kind of trying to figure out why she's lying her butt off and trying to pin it on Maya. That's the main gist of what's happened. Oh yeah, we haven't found Maya yet. Apparently they're going to finish unlocking the locks in like 3 hours or so. Yeah, so soon we should be able to get to Maya. The judge looks mad. What just happened? Oh yeah, we pointed out the contradiction about the weather and how the bridge should have been on fire. And now the judge is unhappy with her. So she keeps lying. Any further lying and I will find you in contempt of court. Do you have anything to say for yourself? The only person here that is truly contemptible is you. Old man. What? Me? How dare you? Whether this witness lied or not doesn't mean squat right now. Squat? The important thing now is to find out the truth. Isn't that right? Yes, of course, but... Whether it was snowing or not snowing, or whether the bridge was burning or not, there are two facts that can't be disputed. First, the body of Elise Downing was discovered at the Hazakura Temple courtyard.
And second, the head nun, Sister Bikini. Witnessed Iris desecrating Elise Downham's body. He makes a good point, on both accounts. That's right. I'm not lying.
What are you claiming this time?
I wasn't myself at all that night, so my memory is still somewhat hazy.
You have stood at that witness stand and testified this entire time. Are you telling us now that your memory of that night is hazy?
It is only human to err. If you're so perfect, Trite, maybe you can explain this for the court.
What is it?
When the murder happened, the bridge had already burnt down. But somehow the body travelled across the bridge and was found in the temple courtyard. Perhaps you have some kind of perfect explanation for this little magic trick?
Oh,
well, not exactly, no. I know there must be some other way she got across that burnt out bridge. But unless I can somehow demonstrate it, we'll never know the truth.
It looks like the defense is not prepared to offer a suitable explanation.
You see what I mean? In other words,
you're in no position to suggest that this lady's testimony isn't the truth. Alright then, witness. Let's hear your testimony once more.
About what, Your Honour?
You've admitted that you moved the victim's body. Nevertheless, your prior testimony contained a rather large inconsistency. Please add an explanation for that to your testimony.
Yes, Your Honour.
Will this be her final testimony? Moving the body.
Other than walking over the bridge, there's no way to move the body. So I must have just gotten confused, I guess. Was the snow still falling, or had it stopped? Does it really matter that much? Or are you saying that there is a way to cross a burning bridge?
So it was just a misunderstanding, I see.
This is a photo of Dusky Bridge after it burned down from the lightning blast. It was taken on the morning of the incident. On the morning after the incident.
Okay. It certainly was burned to a crisp, and one of the suspension wires even snapped. It's amazing the whole bridge didn't fall. Clearly it would be impossible to carry a corpse across a bridge in this condition. Dusky Bridge photo, taken the morning after the crime. Unless I do something to discredit this testimony, it's going to be deemed as the truth. And Maya will be accused of murder. Trite. I'm only going to say it one more time. It is only human to err. And only humans can spot the errors of our ways. The more sense he makes, the less sense he makes. Alright, Mr. Wright, please begin your final cross-examination. Imagine flying nobodies in DMC. Oh god. They'd be flying up there shooting eyeballs at you. Ugh. Ugh. Ugh.
Other than walking over the bridge, there's no way to move the body.
Yes, but if the snow had already stopped when the incident took place,
I couldn't have crossed the bridge, naturally. But I think it's just like Mr. Godot said. The body did make it across somehow. So I must have just gotten confused, I guess.
But you seem to be quite sure of yourself when you gave your testimony. You said you were sure the snow had already stopped.
I'm terribly sorry. I was wrong.
Does she really think an apology is going to get her off the hook? Apparently.
Was the snow still falling, or had it stopped? Does it really matter that much?
This is no joke. You're giving sworn testimony in a court of law.
Well, Mr. Wright, let me ask you a question. Do you remember what the weather was like 1 week ago today?
Well, naturally, it was, You see? It's not that easy to remember, is it? But if it had been some kind of a special day, I would have remembered. For example, it was pouring rain on the day of my elementary school graduation.
Objection!
No one wants to hear about your childhood traumas, Trite. What? By the time the murder took place, the snow had already stopped. If you insist on obsessing over that one statement, let's see the proof. Show some evidence that the body somehow crossed the bridge while it was on fire. But they're kind of spelling it out for me now, aren't they? This is where the sketch is going to come up. Or are you saying that there is a way to cross a burning bridge? Well, I don't see why there couldn't be a way across. Mr. Wright, don't you think that sounds a bit silly? A dead body crossing a burning bridge? Did anyone actually witness such a thing? Ha. If there was, I don't think you'd call someone like that a witness. After all, a dream isn't the same as actually seeing something. I've come all this way, so I owe it to everyone to figure this out. But how do you transport a body across a burning bridge? Even if I don't know the exact answer yet, it's okay. I'll start by examining all of my evidence and see where that takes me. I've got to be like a shark. If I don't keep moving, I'm as good as dead. Like a shark. Phoenix the shark. Alright. Here comes that darn sketch. Bloody Larry. A dead body flying over a burning bridge. I wouldn't exactly rule out the possibility. What? Ha. You're saying it's possible? Don't make me laugh. The only thing that's possible about your claim is that it's been pulled out of thin air. I don't know about that. In any case, we have a witness who did see it happen. Preposterous! That was good. Who is it? Who is this witness? I can't chicken out here. I've got to keep on the attack and go, go, go! Go, go, Phoenix lawyer. I'm way too happy about what I just did. Miss Elise Downham's brilliant and highly gifted apprentice, Loris Downham. Brilliant? Highly gifted apprentice? Remember what he said in his testimony. That night he was at the Mountain Shack, Heavenly Hall. And that's when he witnessed the event. I think you've all seen this sketch before. Thumbnail of Godot spitting coffee. Yeah, that would be a good thumbnail actually. I'll keep that one in mind. It's an exact drawing of what he witnessed that night. Are you serious? Today's not April Fool's Day, is it? Mr. Wright, are you seriously claiming that the victim flew through the air? And you're using this pathetic scribble to support your argument? Uh-oh. The judge looks like he's about to blow a gasket. Ha. Well, Trite, there's nowhere for you to hide now. Other than looking like it was drawn by a 6-year-old, does this sketch prove anything? Yes, I'm pretty sure it does. And I'm going to prove it. Listen, I know your tricks. You're trying to turn this whole thing upside down. If you're so eager to turn this case upside down, why not start with this sketch? Upside down? Why did Godot say that? Alright then, let's hear the defense's theory. Interesting. What exactly is this sketch trying to show? I don't think old Whiskerface is going to forgive any more mistakes. Alright, Phoenix, look carefully and think it over. This sketch drawn by Loris Downham is... So... Yeah, he basically told us to look at it upside down, so she was actually going under the bridge. Because that's where the We can see the support cables. It makes sense for them to be coming from the bottom. So it's exactly what happened, but it's just upside down. We'll check out these other two options. Evidence of nothing. This sketch proves exactly one thing. Absolutely nothing. I've been a judge for a long time now, but I've never seen a defense lawyer so brazenly admit the flimsiness of their evidence. I must say it was quite refreshing in a strange way. How do I remember all the thumbnails for each video when uploading a VOD? Do you mean like figuring out what thumbnail I want? I usually just kind of like flick through quickly. Quite often I don't have a thumbnail already, so I just flick through and pick one out. Times change, Your Honour. Like they say, you are quite the old man, old man. I have the feeling my own lifespan just got shorter. Allow me to speed you along the aging process, trite. Alright then, the witness will now return to her testimony. Yes, Your Honour. Oh wow. A complete contradiction. Something is obviously funny about this sketch. I'm no art critic, but even I can see that. No, that's not what I mean, Your Honour. Lawrence Downham stated it over and over, that this sketch was exactly as he saw it. He's looking at it upside down. However, if we're to believe his testimony, then the sketch contradicts reality as we know it. It contradicts reality? Ha. This is getting interesting. Looks like you're back to that finger-pointing thing again. Okay, trite. So what exactly contradicts reality as we know it? Oh, okay. Are we, I'll point out the supports. Is this wire connected to the bridge? The wire? Ha. Is that the thing that contradicts reality? It is indeed. Ah, is this the right path? Okay. Then show us the reality it supposedly conflicts with. Show us something that point out how the sketch contradicts reality. Do we have a picture of the... Oh, we do have a picture of the bridge. Alright, so I guess this is the right path. Dun, dun, dun. Let's show something wrong and see what happens. Here's your evidence. Trite. It looks like the only piece of reality you have is that poorly drawn sketch. Huh? And the only thing flying away here is your chance of winning this case. I guess I just don't get it yet. Wasn't the best zinger. He can do better. I still don't understand what the truth behind this sketch is. Well, Mr. Wright, if you want to think it over, now is your chance. I've decided to rethink the whole thing. That sounds like a wise idea. Rethinking why you became a lawyer. Perhaps you'd like to rethink merely being born. Jeez. Settle down, Godot. No, I'm not going that far back. Godot going for the throat. Maybe both of them are right. Of course the victim was flying through the air. You can see it right there in the sketch. Whoosh! Okay, this is not the right answer. No, you're starting to remind me of yesterday's witness. What? That was the last thing I wanted to hear. Do you have any evidence that the victim flew through the air? Just so you know, we haven't discovered a giant human catapult at the inner temple yet. Oh, I wish they had. Even if you're a lousy lawyer, at least you're 1 cup's worth of entertainment. I think we should skip the penalty this time. Oh, there must be some way. I just know it. There must be a way to use Larry's sketch to show the truth of what happened. Okay, that was not the right... I thought we were going to go for... Oh, that's exactly what happened. It's just upside down, but... Nope. I was fooled. Alright, what happens if we point out the wrong thing on this sketch now? The body! This flying figure, naturally. After all, people haven't learned to fly yet. Or did I miss something? Mr. Wright? That answer just now. It was lethal. Made her blush. Mr. Wright, after dragging us all the way to this point, that answer was embarrassing. It was so embarrassing, I'm actually blushing. Blushing only suits women, not the elderly. Anyway, what now? Wow, Phoenix. Chill out, buddy. Point to something else. Your Honor, please give me one more chance. Then he gives us a hint. I'm in a tight spot now. What I really need to do is turn this case upside down. So it's time for me to flip things around and get them straight again in my head. Do you know what you're saying this time? So it seemed to have special dialogue for the flying body. Is there special dialogue for anything else? I believe it's somewhere around here. Maybe. Somewhere around here? Maybe? Well, the artist responsible for this sketch is a bit of a walking contradiction. So it's difficult to point out where the contradictions end and the truth begins. Enough with the psychobabble! Mr. Wright! There's a lot of ways to get penalties here, isn't there? Alright. Now we go for the right one. I appreciate that there was special dialogue for the pointing out the body. The wire connecting to the bridge. And now we point out the photo of the dusky bridge. That's a photo of Dusky Bridge, correct? Yes. Now, compare the sketch and the photo for a minute. In the sketch, the wires appear to be above the guard wires. But on the actual Dusky Bridge, jumping Jehoshaphat, the wires are below the guard wires. What? Order, order, order! This sketch is somewhat different than what is depicted in the photo. However, isn't it likely that the artist just saw it wrong? Or perhaps he just drew it wrong? Either way, it sounds like you're just wrong. With someone like Loris, I admit a mistake is a definite possibility. But then that begs the question. Why did he make a mistake? What was the reason? Are you saying you know the answer to that? Listen, think back, alright? Remember what Loris was doing when he witnessed this event. He was at Heavenly Hall waiting for a lover that was never going to come. He waited and waited, and finally he laid down. But then, lightning shoots from the sky and sets the bridge aflame. Now ponder what sort of position Loris must have been in at the time. He was lying on his back, which is why he remembered the scene the way he did. He was lying on his back? I can't see how it relates. But it does, Your Honor. That is the reason why the wires in the sketch go up instead of down. You're surprised that the sketch is admissible in a court of law. Yeah, exactly. Ah! No way. Loris Downing witnessed the event while he was lying on his back, face up. In other words, the scene that he saw was actually upside down. So then, this sketch should actually... I think you finally get it, Your Honor. The correct way to view Loris Downing's sketch is like this. This is how it should actually look. The victim's body wasn't flying above the bridge. It was actually swinging below. This is a messed up thing to do to a body. What the hell? Kind of weird they have got to give you hints, then be surprised when you point it out. Guess they had to have someone give you hints so no one else is around. Yeah, that's true, he doesn't have anyone helping him. Larry's sketch turning the world upside down. Oh, did he say anything about his sketch turning the world upside down in his testimony? Because that would have been really good. That would have been good foreshadowing. That's right, just like a pendulum. Ridiculous. Order, order, order. Of all the things to say, a pendulum. The bridge was burning to a crisp. There was no way to get across it. But if the body had been found at the inner temple, it would have caused problems. This is where the criminal decided to take a gamble. They used the burning bridge to get the body across to the other side. And a pendulum was the only way to get it done. Let's think about this for a minute, shall we? Dusky Bridge is about 20 yards long, which means it's about that far from the inner temple to the opposite cliff. Yes, that sounds right. In order to cover that distance with a pendulum, you'd need a rope at least 10 yards long. To get a rope that long, you have to plan ahead. The lightning strike that night can only have been an accident, so it does make sense that the culprit would have prepared the rope beforehand. So then, they didn't have to get the rope ready. The rope was already right in front of them. What? Do I have to answer this? Let's see. I need some water. Who was on the other side to catch it, I wonder? I guess we'll get to that. I'm saying that it was just a matter of using what was already there. In that case, Mr. Wright, please give us an explanation to support your theory. What makes you think the criminal had the rope on hand to create a pendulum? Well, first, what's the real answer here? Do we have a picture of the... I guess not. I guess I'm just going to show the photo again? Or maybe the map, because the map shows the rope as well. Yeah, I'm gonna guess it's the photo. But it was probably also my badge. What do you think, Mr. Godot? I think that Mr. Trite is lucky there's no rope around here. Huh? Even if I had just a sliver of rope, I'd be wrapping it nice and tight around his neck. Wow. I should have figured I'm not going to win this one with a lucky guess. She just threatened to kill us in court. Mr. Wright, your assertion seems to be baseless. There's no evidence that the body was swung like a pendulum after all. Wait, but that's the only possible way the body could have gotten across. The rope was already right in front of them. What? And load. Mia had a similar reaction to Edgy, except monologued. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, she wanted to wrap the scarf around his neck. Around that smarmy little neck. Alright, I'll try the photo since it shows the rope hanging down. And the meaning of this is... if you want to know where the rope came from, it's hanging right there in front of your glorious beard. Ah! This is one of the wires from the bridge. When the lightning struck the bridge and set it on fire, one of the suspension wires came loose from its anchor. The criminal didn't have any time to waste, so they tied the wire around at least Downham's body. Wow. Because there was simply no other way to move the body. Ha. That's also a good thumbnail. This has gotten pretty silly, this case. Mr. Godot! It seems that Mr. Godot is more focused on his coffee than answering my question. It seems that the odds of a rope being readily available were very high. So I suppose that it's not an impossibility after all. Possible or impossible? That's not the question we need to ask. There's only one question. Did that really happen? Trite. I wonder if you can prove what happened to us. Do you have any actual evidence that the body was swung over like a pendulum? I don't think we do. I mean, we have to, but what is it going to be? I mean, her sphere was found there, but I assume she didn't have the staff on her while she was being swung, because she would have just dropped the staff into the water. That's the only thing I can think of. Try my badge first. There's the proof. Why don't you go swing yourself around like a pendulum tried? I think you should think that over again, Mr. Wright. It's kind of nice when they don't spend too much time thinking of a witty retort. I suppose we've gotten used to your mistakes. I need to think about how this body was moved. The criminal decided to use the pendulum method as a last resort. So there's a good chance there's still a clue from when or where the body landed. Okay, I guess it is the orb. Ha! Here's a toast to your ever so classic clueless look. Trite, I wonder if you can prove what happened to us. Is it the... I'll just try it. I'm gonna reload to get my health back. I assume it's the sphere? It is actually. Okay, how did they get the staff across with her without it falling in the water? Did they wrap the staff up with the rope as well? I guess they did. Just skipping through to get to that point again. Oh, we get to see this animation again. Yeah, that's all very true, panicking. There's a lot of holes in this. What if he can't taste the coffee as much as well, or can't feel the heat for how he chugs that stuff? He can't see well, instead he's messed up in more ways than one. Oh, that's a good theory, actually. Maybe he can't taste very well. Alright. The sphere. Before I present my evidence, let me review what we know so far. According to this photo, one of the wires snapped. Looking at the map, we can see it's the one that was in front of the inner temple. So then, that was the spot where the criminal? Yes, precisely. Now let us consider the body's movement by looking at the overhead map again. If the body was pushed from this point here... I guess that part is further forward. It would drop on the opposite bank at approximately this point. Did you say drop? Well, they must have failed to catch the body on the other bank. What? What makes you think something like that happened? Because I have evidence that suggests her body dropped some distance. Yeah, the bruises. What kind of evidence? Take a look at this autopsy report. It says here that her body fell about 10 feet after her death. Oh wow, they made that connection for me. They didn't make me point that out. 10 feet, huh? That's most likely the height difference between the two sides. The body overswung due to forward momentum, but then came loose and fell about 10 feet. And then, as a result of the landing impact, this crystal sphere was knocked loose. That's... Yes, this blood-stained amethyst crystal. It's the one that came off of Miss Elise Downham's staff. And even more important is the place where this crystal sphere was found. Indeed. I believe it's already marked on this overhead map. The crystal was found. Ah! Precisely, Your Honor. In the very spot where the pendulum would arrive if given the right amount of speed. This explains your theory quite well, Mr. Wright. You have provided us with a way the body could have been moved that night. An impressive deduction, Mr. Wright. Most impressive. Mr. Wright? I thought this cold coffee might help cool you down. What is the meaning of this, Mr. Godot? He can taste enough to tell that Tribulations has awful coffee. Oh, that's a good point. That was a dark and bitter guess that you made, Trite. But you forgot about one thing. Oh? And what would that be? The aroma. Huh? A coffee's most reliable accomplice is its deep and profound aroma. The rest of the court doesn't speak Coffinese. Can you elaborate a bit more? If the criminal had sent the body to the other side, like you say, then naturally there must have been an accomplice lying in wait to catch it. An accomplice? The criminal wasn't able to cross Dusky Bridge. So, who collected the body? What do you have to say about that, Trite? Mr. Godot is correct. This can't be the work of a single person. Well, Mr. Wright, you know what you must do. Oh, booger. Booger. Yes, Your Honor. The body couldn't have made it to Hazakura Temple without an accomplice. Very well then. If you please, Mr. Wright. Who was the person that received the body on the Hazakura Temple side? I love it starts off at evidence instead of profiles. So perhaps it was indeed my badge. I'm thinking maybe Iris was the one on this side of the bridge? Well, Mr. Godot, I'm sure you have something to say. That aroma just now. It smelled of sulphur. Perhaps it was your chances of winning rotting away. I can't get my facts all mixed up like this. After the accomplice received the body, they carried it to Hazakura Temple. Then they altered it using the Shito. There's only one person it can be. Mr. Wright, please don't stare at me like that, it's creepy. Very well then, if you please, Mr. Wright. Don't stare at the judge like that, it's creepy. So, yeah, I think Iris was on this side, because she was seen, like, stabbing the body with the thingy. And she was the one who had the keys to the snowmobile. Yeah, so I think Iris was on this side, and I think she made up everything about the other side. That's my theory. It can only be you, Sister Iris. Huh? Oh, but I don't see why you're so surprised. The only way to transport the body from Dusky Bridge is by snowmobile. But with her bad back, Sister Bikini could never pick up a body like that. You're the only one that could have managed it. Objection. Trite. Were you even listening to the witness's testimony? Yeah, I was. There was a bunch of lies! Also, if she was on the other side of the bridge, she would have been stranded. But then who was the murderer? I haven't figured that out yet. On the night of the crime, this little cutie pie was on clean-up duty in the inner temple garden after the mother-daughter bloodbath. I haven't forgotten, but have you, Mr. Godot? This witness was also seen at Hazakura Temple, desecrating the corpse of the victim. Strange indeed. It's almost as if, on that night, The defendant was in 2 different places at the same time. Sister Iris, let me ask you something. Why didn't you mention it when you first gave your testimony? Mention what? The pendulum, of course. Using this sketch drawn by an eyewitness, I have established how the body was moved using the burnt-out bridge. Which means it's now a fact that this occurred, something you should have already known. No, I had no idea. I didn't know anything about a pendulum. But the body couldn't have been passed along to the other side without your help. So you should have known about it. In fact, it'd be impossible for you to be clueless about this whole thing. Unless you're not really Iris to begin with. Ah. What? How can you say that, Mr. Wright? What? What kind of nonsense is this? You're saying this witness isn't Iris of Hazakura Temple?
Objection!
Are you serious, Trite? You mean that this woman is... Is this Dahlia? But who's channeling her? There's no one besides Iris that could have received the corpse that night. Now I get it. Now I know why I've been sick to my stomach this whole trial. Why her whole demeanour changed so suddenly from yesterday. And why she's trying to pin this murder on Maya. The woman that's standing there at the witness stand? Her real name is... I mean... it's pretty obvious what the answer is. No, wait, that can't be it. This is no time to be making stupid amateurish mistakes. Mr. Wright, you just made an absolutely absurd accusation. I won't have you turning my courtroom into a circus sideshow. I mean, case 2-3. Ugh, come on, this one's a no-brainer. The woman that's standing there at the witness stand. Load the game. So who is channeling her? Did they get... Trying to figure out how this happened, but I guess we'll see what happened. Hey, buddy cat, welcome. I never thought I'd have to utter your name again, let alone see you. Sneejan, you know I do wrong answers to see the dialogue. That's how I play. Let alone see you. It's been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne. Hawthorne? Sister Iris had a twin sister. And you're looking at her, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. That name rings some bells. Distant bells, but bells nonetheless. Ha! It's just your imagination, Gramps. This file contains all the relevant data about Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh yes, I remember now. That case. 5 years ago. My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I just want to say, it's an honour for me to be here in your noble presence. The honour is all mine. No, the honour is all mine. But according to this, Dahlia Hawthorne is already dead. It says her execution was carried out last month. So what? Death has no meaning in this courtroom. What? Order, order, order! Wait a moment. How can you... My sister? She's already dead? What kind of... You of all people should already understand. After all, the blood of the master of the Karine channeling technique flows within that body. The Karine channeling technique? Now where have I heard that? That's right, you're not Dahlia Hawthorne herself. You're the spirit of Dahlia, currently inhabiting the body of a spirit medium. What an exciting story. Exciting, but quite impossible. You're asking us to buy that Dahlia Hawthorne just happened to be channeled by someone on the very night of the murder to a temple where her twin sister, Iris, was? Well, if you're going to put things that way, then yes. We're supposed to believe a coincidence like that just happens? And now I guess we're going to show the note to show that there was a plot going on. Naturally, it was no coincidence. The whole thing was part of a plan from the very beginning. It's all written right here in these instructions. Ah, well, what's that? These instructions were written by your mother, Morgan Fay. And part of the plan called for Dahlia Hawthorne to be channeled. That night, there were 2 irises at Hazakura Temple. Two of them? Even the time of the channeling was planned out. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, in other words, 10 PM. However, Iris was seen before dinner time. That means the Iris that was at dinner was the real Iris. And the Iris who gave me this hood in the main hall was also the real Iris. Meaning that the Iris Sister Bikini saw at the inner temple was someone else dressed as her, namely one Dahlia Hawthorne. Do you even know what you're saying, Trite? This whole channeling the spirit of Dahlia Hawthorne business. Yes, it's true that you found plans that talk about it. However, there's one thing that's perfectly clear. The witness currently standing in the witness stand is the real Iris. What? How do you know that? Calm down and remember what you know about the night of the crime. After meeting Sister Bikini, the Dahlia Hawthorne that had been channeled would have been stranded at the inner temple due to the lightning strike. Oh, yeah. It was later that the body was moved by pendulum. That's right. Naturally, that would mean that the Iris that received the body was the real Iris. Are you with me so far? Yes. After being notified of what happened, the police came to Hazakura Temple's main hall. There they found Iris in her room and arrested her. And ever since, she's been under police supervision at the detention center. Yes, I suppose. I can't deny any of that. Phew, thank goodness. It looks like he's finally convinced. But something still seems off. Way off. I'm still not convinced that the Iris here is the same one from the other night. Ha. I suppose you're about to say something really ridiculous. I mean, always. Always with Phoenix. Like the real Iris and the spirit of Dahlia somehow switched places. Is it switched places? To be perfectly honest, there are still quite a few things I don't understand, but I do know that unless we confirm the witness's identity, we can't continue with this trial. Iris doesn't have the spiritual power needed to channel Dahlia. Wait, doesn't she? How do we know Iris can't channel? Which means they must have switched places somewhere. Yeah, it's when she escaped from Edgeworth after the earthquake. Well, Mr. Wright, since the time she was arrested at Hazakura Temple, have there been any chances for Iris to switch places with Dahlia Hawthorne? I can't think of one. Who was channeling Dahlia at the time of the murder? We don't know yet. I've got a couple theories, but... yeah, I'm not really sure. She certainly couldn't have escaped while she was under arrest. Ha. I love that look on your face. Maybe you should go live in that old mountain shack and become a hermit. It appears there was no opportunity for them to have switched places. No, if I give up here, I'd never be able to live with myself. Even if it's a little forced, I have to think of something. Your Honor, I think there might have been one chance. Oh, explain yourself. Yesterday, for a few minutes, Iris's whereabouts were unknown. Unknown? What do you mean? What I mean is, there was a span of time in which Iris was able to move about freely, unsupervised. Well, who was it? Oh. Poor Edgy. Who would give a murder suspect time to move about freely like that? I'm sorry. I know you didn't mean to. It wasn't your fault. The person who gave Iris the chance to freely move about was... Pearl. Mr. Wright, there will be no unaccountability in my court, time or otherwise. Ha. Tried. Can't you even remember what happened only yesterday? Yesterday, Iris was escorted to Hazakura Temple in order to remove the locks in the sacred cavern. That would have been her only chance. Not much dialogue for that one, sadly. Poor Edgy. This is Mr. Edgeworth, isn't it? Your Honor? There was a fairly large earthquake yesterday, was there not? An earthquake? An earthquake? Oh my goodness, the inner temple? This kind of tremor might... How could I have... She fled. She escaped. We went to the inner temple right away. And it's true, Iris was already there. However, they had already switched places by that point in time. When I arrived at the training hall, I was met by none other than Dahlia Hawthorne. Did she switch places willingly? That's quite enough already, Mr. Wright. Now see here. No judge in his right mind would consider the idea of spirit channeling and... Be quiet. It's been a long time, Mr. Judge. That voice? Guess I'll have to ask again. Upon meeting a beautiful lady, I always ask for her name and profession. That's one of my rules. Dahlia Hawthorne. And my current profession? Permanently retired. Clearly Pearl was using the badge to plan this whole thing out. Yeah. Ha. So you're not going to bother hiding your identity anymore, huh? Why should I? After all, I'm dead. There's really nothing you can do to punish me. Oh, jeez. That look on her face. What is going on here? Dahlia Hawthorne. I never thought we'd meet again. And I never thought we'd meet like this. But this time, I'll end it. For her and for myself. Wow. Wowza. Alright. The first psycho lock with Dahlia, she's subtly a real asshole. Really? I'm gonna have to go rewatch that dialogue to see. You could say this was a ghost trick. I like that. Alright, well, I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna feed the cat, because it's dinner time for her. Even though I don't think she's here at the moment. She'll come when I feed her, though. Alright, I should take a break, and I'll give you all some music to listen to. Let's go with Lordly Taylor. That sounds good. Oop. Okay. I shall see you all soon. Okay, I'm back. Sorry everyone, some real life stuff happened, so it ended up being a long break. But I am back finally. Okay. Fed the cat. Have Cleo. She's pretty happy. Because she got food, so. Welcome, 12th root of 2. Welcome. And thanks for following Love Doctor VGC. Thanks, Alyosha. Yeah, I'm sorry if this playthrough just isn't living up to what you want, Sneejan. If this case is a lot of personal meaning to you, I'm sorry. But yeah, you are like actually causing me a fair bit of stress and anxiety. Yeah, like every time I go to do like a wrong answer, I like this little feeling in my gut that, oh, is Sneejan gonna be upset at this? Yeah. So it actually is causing me quite a bit of distress. Hey, Lady Luna. Cat had me at gunpoint, demanded snacks, pets and rubs. She doesn't like pets and rubs, actually. She just wants food. Just food forever. Okay, let's continue on with this trial. Thanks, Lady Luna. 1:06 PM. Courtroom number 7. Now then, let's continue where we left off, shall we? Well, witness? Yes, how can I help you, Mr. Judge? Well, it seems that if we're to learn the truth, we'll need to hear your testimony. I have no problem with that. Can we trust her testimony? I mean, I can't. But when you've seen what I have, sometimes the truth is better left unknown. She's so hateable, isn't she? Thanks, everyone. In any case, let's hear your testimony. Tell us about the plan that was carried out that night. The plan. The whole plan began with my death. Did she die on purpose? A stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fay to install her own daughter as the next master. But for it to work, Maya Fay would first have to die. The idea was for me to kill Maya and then have the blame pinned on Iris. The plan went wrong, but it seems to have succeeded anyway. So that means you really are... Wait a minute. Did you just say the plan was to kill Maya Fay? Why the heck does she have her own special testimony music? Because she's a pretty big villain. The cat sees me as a food dispenser. Yep. And I'm also something for her to cuddle up with in bed. She gives us cuddles in bed, so that's pretty cute. Yes, you have a problem with that? Don't give us that nonsense. There's no way that... Watch yourself, trite. If you've got a problem, solve it during cross-examination. That's one of my rules. Mr. Godot is correct. And by the way, that's one of my rules as well. To kill Maya? Could it be true? Yeah, well, it makes sense, because Maya's the master, and if she dies, then Pearl would become the next master. The whole plan began with my death. You were executed last month, correct? Yes, I was hanged. It wasn't exactly pleasant. How did you manage to discuss the plan? When did you talk with Morgan Fay?
Last year, she was transferred to the same detention centre as me. Since I was on death row and she was my mother, it was actually pretty easy to meet with her.
I see. So that's when you discussed the plan?
Huh. Are you crazy? At first, that woman was planning to kill me as well. Even though I'm her own daughter.
All to make Pearl Fey the master of Khura'in?
She's a cold, twisted woman. She thought she could finally regain her lost honour. The honour she'd lost when her younger sister, Misty, took her place as the master. Ever since that day, she's been working on this plan.
Wow. Yeah, I really want to go rewatch the earlier stuff to see how she's acting differently. The contracts we humans have with cats is that we provide food, shelter, and cuddles. In exchange, they look cute when they feel like it. Yeah, it's not a great deal, but, you know, it's the deal we made. It's alright, Sneejin. It's alright. Thank you. I forgive you.
Yeah, when did she hide the note? Ever since that day, she's been working on this plan.
A plan, huh?
A stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fey to install her own daughter as the next master.
You're talking about Pearl Fey, is that correct?
Yes, though at first she had high hopes for the two of us.
You and your twin sister, Iris?
That's correct. Fortunately, neither of us had much spiritual power. That's why we were abandoned by her, along with our father.
Abandoned?
The only person I ever really cared about in life was myself. My sister was a nuisance, so I convinced my father to leave her at an old temple.
You mean Iris?
Yes, my father remarried a woman who also had a daughter. The less children you have, the more money there is to go around, right? And on top of that, my father had absolutely no interest in children in general.
How horrible.
The really horrible one was that woman. That bitter, vengeful woman. It was her stubbornness that gave birth to that child, Pearl Fey. She was born with an abundance of spiritual power. Unfortunately for her.
So who is Pearl's father?
Morgan Fey heaped all of her broken hopes and dreams onto that poor child's back. All because of her pathetic dreams of having her bloodline become the main family. But for it to work, Maya Fey would first have to die.
Maya would have to die? But why?
For our bloodline to succeed as the main family, thus making Pearl the new master, the remaining descendants of the current master had to be taken care of.
But Pearls would never agree to a plan like that. She adores Maya.
How sad. You still don't get it, do you? What Pearl wanted had nothing to do with it. Morgan didn't care one bit about Pearl. The only thing she cared about was the position of the master. That's all.
That's ridiculous.
She was willing to sacrifice anything and anyone to achieve her goal. The life of her daughter, and naturally, the life of Maya Fey as well. How could anyone do that? The idea was for me to kill Maya and then have the blame pinned on Iris.
Wow. Phoenix time to adopt Pearl, yeah. You were going to kill Maya?
Pearl didn't need to know anything about it. All she had to do was follow the instructions in the letter and channel me. Then I would have simply used her body and finished the job. In any case, I'm already dead, and there's nothing any of you can do to me.
Yeah.
So the plan was to blame the crime on your younger twin, on Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. She and I look absolutely identical. No one can tell us apart. If someone were to witness me killing Maya, naturally they would think it was Iris that had done it. And the witness in this case was the head nun, Sister Bikini. I never would have guessed she was going to return to Hazakura Temple that night. But she wound up seeing Iris's crime anyway.
But why did you want to pin the murder on Iris in the first place? She's your twin sister, isn't she?
Twin sister? Don't make me laugh. She's nothing but a backstabber. I couldn't care less about her.
Backstabber?
You just don't understand. You never will. Anyway, the plan went wrong, but it seems to have succeeded anyway. I can't believe it. She meant to kill Maya.
I've got to keep a cool head, and I need to get more information out of her. It's the only way to understand this plan, and what she was after as well.
Okay.
You think the plan was a success?
You heard me. Just as that woman had hoped. Maya Fey's dead. Now the title of the Master will pass on to Pearl Fey.
That's absurd. Maya is just... she's just trapped. Trapped inside the sacred cavern.
Really? You're as foolishly optimistic as ever, aren't you? My darling Feeny?
Ooh. Ooh. Phoenix and Edgeworth adopting Maya and Pearl. That would be really sweet.
Do you want to know the truth? Ever since we met, I've despised you. Your snivelling naivety and your pathetic faith in other people.
I just want to know one thing. What did you personally think of Morgan Fey's plan?
I told you already, didn't I? It was a stupid plan. It had no point, no value other than fulfilling her own greedy desires. Yes, it was certainly nothing to be proud of.
If that's how you feel, why did you help her carry it out? Why would you do it? Why would you kill Maya?
You may not understand it, being the kind and gentle soul that you are. You may not be able to appreciate why someone like me would help a woman like that.
So then tell me, why?
Isn't it obvious? I'm not like that woman. I only act in my own self-interest. The reason I helped her was for myself. For my own personal satisfaction.
What did you say?
So this woman, Dahlia Hawthorne, she had her own reason for wanting Maya dead. Do you understand why I would kill Maya Fey now? What my goal was?
Obviously, it's because you were helping Morgan Fey.
Helping? Don't make me laugh. From the day I was born to the day I died, I never helped anyone. I lived for myself, and in the end, I died for myself. I thought that was obvious.
So she wasn't actually cooperating with Morgan. She was just using Morgan and her plan so she could accomplish her goal. Her own goal.
All I wanted to do was kill Maya Fey. That was the only way I could think of to get revenge.
Revenge. It looks like I have no choice but to present that piece of evidence. I can't believe it. She meant to kill Maya. Okay. That piece of evidence, eh, Phoenix?
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay. What piece of evidence, Feeny?
does she know she killed Misty? How did she know it was Misty? I'm confused. Alright, why would... When I'm presenting the letter? Because the letter's telling her to kill, Oh, the letter's telling her to kill Maya. Okay. Not quite sure what the game wants of me. Am I asking why she killed... Load. Hey Kalistar, welcome! I'm just going to repress this just to kind of see what Phoenix was getting at. I've no choice but to present that piece of evidence. Okay, well my guess is why she wanted to kill Maya was to get revenge against Mia. So I'm going to try presenting Mia. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I figured it out. Maya's out playing Pokemon Go. No one told Dahlia. Could it be that your actual goal had nothing to do with Maya Fey herself? As I said, none of you have the power to punish me anymore, because I'm already dead. Well, I had the same problem, you see. You can't punish the dead, and you can't take revenge against them either. You wanted to take revenge on someone? I was sentenced to die because of that woman, Mia Fey. I somehow knew this was it. I wanted to send her a message. It was at her hands that I suffered my first humiliation. I wanted her to feel the same pain she made me feel. Sadly, when I realised revenge was impossible, I gave up. And the reason it was impossible? Was it perhaps because Mia Fey had already died? Yes, and I realised there's only one way to take revenge against the dead.
And how do you do that?
Even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on, forever. I wanted to take away the person that Mia Fey loved most. I wanted to kill her with my own hands. That would be the one and only way I could take my revenge against Mia Fey. That was the reason I helped out with that woman's plans.
Just for that? For that you would kill Maya? Your goal was no different than that of Morgan Fey. As they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. What a cruel plan. Cruel, cold, and heartless.
Don't waste your time preaching to the dead. I've already told you, there's not a thing you can do to me.
Yeah.
That night, at about 9:30 PM, I materialised into this world.
That's before the bell. Quite a bit before the bell.
I quickly pinned my hair up and put on a demon warding hood. Then I picked up the staff that was by my side and left Hazakura Temple.
Oh, what?
So, it was Elise Downham who channeled her after all. That ridiculous head nun never noticed a thing.
What?
She left Maya Fey at the inner temple and wobbled back clutching her poor old back.
What did you do then?
That kid was easier to handle than I had hoped. I caught up with her in front of the stone lantern. Then I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom and... So then you're saying you stabbed Maya? It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that.
What does that mean? No clear memory?
I don't know. I think I was stabbed.
You were stabbed?
At the last minute. Maya Fey must have stabbed me. I'm sure of it.
That's not like her at all. Maya wouldn't stab a French fry with a plastic fork.
Anyway, I suddenly lost consciousness. But before I did, I scrawled her name on the lantern. Just as I was passing out, I wrote Maya behind my back. I had hoped it would cast suspicion on her. I can't believe she was thinking of that until the bitter end. That's where my memory temporarily stops.
It stops?
I don't have any memory of actually killing Maya Fey with my own two hands. My very last memory was... Maya's terror-filled eyes.
God, that Maya sprite freaks me out.
The judge is super ready to accept the concept of spirit channeling. Yeah. Pearls did fall far from the tree and rolled downhill. Into a river, rolled out and kept rolling.
Yup.
When I woke up after that, I was in the secret cavern, surrounded by darkness.
You were in the secret cavern?
The entrance was sealed with one of those trick locks. Somehow I'd been trapped in there. But how did you wind up in there? I'd like to know that myself. Anyway, I was worried. I didn't know whether or not Maya Fey was dead. And I swore I wouldn't return to the underworld until I knew I had killed her myself. For a ghost, you're one tough cookie. I wanted to get out of there and make sure she was dead. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't get out. The trick lock stopped you, huh? I didn't know how to remove it.
So then you're saying you were actually confined against your will inside this secret cavern?
Yes. I wanted to get rid of that annoying lock as soon as possible. But it wasn't easy. I kept getting interrupted while I was working on it.
Interrupted?
It was early in the morning, but someone came into the training hall.
What? Who?
Could it have been Maya? I thought the same thing, but I couldn't see.
Why not?
If someone had spotted me, I would have lost my chance to take revenge. So I made sure to hide myself well at the back of the sacred cavern. That morning, only 2 people could have gone into the training hall. Maya and Pearls. Pearls went there to cover the hanging scroll in gravy. Still, I finally managed to remove the lock.
Yeah, I think I see where this is going.
But I was too late.
What do you mean by that?
The flyers had already started to gather.
The bridge had been fixed and the police had started their investigation, correct?
Naturally, I couldn't go out. So instead, I returned to the cavern and put the lock back on myself. I realised I wouldn't get a chance to see Maya's corpse as I had hoped. But just then, Lady Luck showed up.
Lady Luck?
After that big earthquake, she showed up, all by herself.
The real Iris?
She said she'd come to make sure the sacred cavern was alright. Stupid girl. I came out from the sacred cavern and got a feel for the situation. and I locked her away in my place.
Wow. Now I understand.
I had finally learned exactly what had happened. It was then that I learned that the plan had actually succeeded.
What do you mean your plan had succeeded?
I had misunderstood one thing, you see. That night, the one that had summoned me, I had assumed that it was Pearl Fay.
Well, of course you would have assumed that. It was written in the instructions.
But I was wrong. The person that had actually called my spirit back was... Misty Fay, the picture book author.
What?
Well, that's really the only possibility, isn't it? After I lost consciousness in the garden, it was her body that was left lying there. Maya Fay, I wasn't able to kill her with my own hands after all. But even so, I made her commit the most vile sin a human can commit.
And that is?
Matricide. The sin of killing her own mother. Ooh.
Did Misty open that note before Pearl's? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. She must have seen the plan and tried to interfere with it. Oh. No way! Oh, order! Order in the court! What is the meaning of this?
It's true that I was the one who attacked Maya Fay. But even so, the murderer who actually snuffed out Misty Fay's life was none other than your darling little Maya.
Ridiculous! That's nonsense!
Are you sure about that? Just think about it. There's even evidence supporting these facts, isn't there?
What? What do you mean? What is this so-called evidence?
The fact that Maya Fay has disappeared is evidence enough, isn't it?
Huh?
The idea that she's still in the sacred cavern is just ridiculous. She wasn't able to escape from the inner temple, that much is obvious. In that case, there is only one place she could be.
Where?
Do I have to spell it out? The bottom of the Eagle River. Where else?
Hey, Scurvy Kip, how are ya? Welcome. Eagle River?
Maya Fay killed her long-lost mother. Can you imagine the guilt she must have felt when she realized that? That's why she threw herself into the Eagle River. Most bodies that wind up in there are lost forever. So, what do you have to say now, Feeny?
This got pretty dark.
Oh,
That's gotta be Godot's ringtone, hey? Oops. Sorry, that's my phone. What kind of ringtone is that? Godot here. Okay, thanks. Was it something important? They just finished removing the locks from the sacred cavern.
that's great! What about Maya?
There was a woman in the cave. Was it Maya Fay?
It was the accused, Sister Iris.
Huh?
Don't look so surprised. I locked her in there yesterday. I just finished telling you that.
So, what about Maya? Where is she?
There was no one else found inside the sacred cavern.
No, it can't be.
I told you, didn't I? She's dead.
You streamed some more EDF5 tonight? Oh, cool. What's EDF 5 like? No. No! And there's something... Yeah, there's something they haven't realised yet. It seems that this case has come to an end. A tragic end. Sadly, it appears the killer of Elise Downham, also known as Misty Fey, was her own daughter, Maya Fey. Overcome with guilt for what she had done, Maya Fey jumped to her death into the raging waters of the Eagle River. It can't be. Huh. Ah, Godot. Right. Have you ever heard this one? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. No matter how improbable it may seem. What is that supposed to mean, Prosecutor Godot? According to this witness, Maya Fey threw herself into the Eagle River. However, is that really the truth? Remember, this woman testified earlier that the bridge was already on fire when the murder was taking place in the garden. Which means if Maya had thrown herself into the river, it must have been from the inner temple side, near the bridge. That's right, that's where she jumped from. But that's impossible. It's impossible to jump into the river from there. What? Don't get your panties all twisted up, Trite. Just relax and think through the whole thing again. So it's impossible? Maya couldn't have thrown herself into Eagle River? Well, Mr. Wright, I'll have to come up with the evidence, aren't I? Miss Hawthorne claims Miss Fey threw herself into the river from the inner temple side. Do you have any evidence that refutes this claim? It's the map, because there's ground there. But perhaps it's also the bed. It's like 4.1 silly over the top. But this time there's giant frogmen. That sounds pretty fun, Skip. That's it? That's your answer? Ha. The only one that should be thrown into a river is you. Oh. But then again, even if you did, you wouldn't reach the river, would you? Huh? What's that? I wouldn't reach it? Don't get your panties all twisted up. He's giving us a hint. There's kind of no wrong answer to that that's not silly. Honestly. Because none of it makes sense except for the map. This bloody river is awful, apparently. It's impossible to jump into the Eagle River from the inner temple side. No one knows that better than this witness. What did you say? 11 years ago, you jumped into the very same river. Just take a look at this overhead map. As you can see, below the cliff on the inner temple side is a big rock shelf. Oh! You're right. She wouldn't have reached the river if she had jumped off from there. In other words, if she had jumped, we should be able to see her body in this photo. Ah. Ha. So you finally figured it out. You. No! Order! You're just playing with me. Maya Fey's body is at the bottom of the Eagle River. There's nowhere else she could possibly be hiding. Miss Hawthorne, have you ever heard this one before? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Just copying Godot now. Yes, just a few minutes ago. Maya Fey wasn't inside the sacred cavern. We now know that she didn't throw herself into the Eagle River. Correct. That eliminates all the most likely possibilities. Now, although it seems improbable, there's still one other place she could be. What? What is this one possibility you are talking about? That's obviously a bluff. So where is her dead body then? Finally, I think the pieces are falling into place. That's why I'm saving my game. Need some water? Okay. Normally the living have no way to punish the dead. But I think there is a way to give Dahlia Hawthorne the ultimate punishment. Shall I tell you, Miss Hawthorne? Shall I tell you where Maya is this very instant? Maya is... Ooh, we can save here. She's in the Inner Temple! The Inner Temple was cut off from the outside world on the night of the crime. So in other words, Maya is still there! Maya's in my save file, yeah. Mr. Wright, let me ask the question that I'm sure is on everyone's minds. The police scoured the Inner Temple from top to bottom, correct? You bet. Detective Gumshoe had his nose to the ground and sniffed around everywhere. Then the fact that Maya is not in the Inner Temple has already been adequately proven, has it not? Yikes! Guess my intuition was wrong. Intuition. Truthiness has no... Truthiness? Is that a word? Truthiness has no place here. Use your brain, not your gut, to find the real truth, trite. Skip ahead. Actually, I'll just load, because that takes us right back here. She's in Hazakura Temple! It's already been proven that she isn't on the Inner Temple side. So that means she must be somewhere in Hazakura Temple. Mr. Wright, let me ask a question that I'm sure is on everyone's minds. The bridge was already on fire when the murder took place, correct? Just so you know, my heart is also on fire, and it aches from your stupidity. So the impossibility of Maya Fey escaping from the Inner Temple side has already been adequately proven, has it not? Yikes. Hey Shenlong Zhong, welcome. It is a word? Ah, okay. Alright, let's get the actual right answer. In this courtroom, there's only one possibility left. Namely, she's right here in this very courtroom. What? Maya Fey is here? You say she's here in my courtroom? Dahlia Hawthorne, I seem to recall that you said, I had misunderstood one thing, you see. So what? But I think there's one more thing you misunderstood. What do you mean? Tell me something. At this very moment, who is channeling Dahlia Hawthorne? Why that's obvious. It's Pearl Fey. That pathetic little snivelling runt. You're wrong. Pearl's tried, but she couldn't do it. I've never failed at channeling someone. This is the first time it's happened. Isn't there any explanation for why you couldn't channel a spirit? It could happen if someone else was already channeling the same spirit. Someone called me before Pearl did? But who? Pearl's even tried again on the day after the crime. But she couldn't do it. What could that mean? I think the truth is becoming clearer to you right about now. Am I correct? Ah! It wasn't Pearls that channeled you. There was someone who called you before she could. Really? I have to point this out. It was Pearls. No, that's not who. How can I come this far and still not get it? Pearls couldn't channel her, and Maya had disappeared. There's only one possible answer. Mr. Wright, you can mumble to yourself like a wino? What's a wino? A wino on your own time. Please, give me just one more chance. What's a wino? I can't be bothered reloading because I didn't save. It was May. This is an easy one. Pearls couldn't do it, and Misty Faye is gone. There's only one possibility left. Come on already. I can't stand the tension. Dahlia Hawthorne. The person channeling you right now must be Maya Faye. Am I going to stop here? I don't... Is there going to be another segment after this? I might need to stop. We'll see. I'll go until the next break point. What? Wino, someone who drinks a lot of wine. Oh, okay, thanks. I hadn't heard that term. That sounds like a nice burger too. But how could that be? Remember what this witness, Dahlia Hawthorne, said about her goal? She said that her goal was to kill Maya Faye. Yes, that's right. But if Maya channeled the spirit of someone that was trying to kill her... Ha. Well, Gramps, what would happen? Could it be? It looks like you finally understand, Your Honor. Well, I don't. What are you going on about? What I'm going on about is the reason Maya channeled you. Oh, do I have to make a decision here? And there's only one reason. To protect herself from you. To protect herself? From me? Yes. On the night of the crime, you were only interested in one thing. Killing Maya Faye. The path back to Hazakura was closed off, and there was nowhere for her to run. So then the problem became, where would be the safest place to hide? You mean, that's when she channeled me? All this time, you thought you had been channeled by Pearls. That's why it never occurred to you. That Maya's hiding place was you. No. Don't say that. You're saying that I, Dahlia Hawthorne, was played for a fool by that little whelp? Maya Faye killed herself. Isn't it obvious? Sorry, but no. It would have been impossible for her to jump into the Eagle River. This was the only avenue of escape open to Maya. The only way that Maya could disappear from the inner temple. I don't believe you. A stupid little girl like that who has never been out in the real world. She could never have come up with a plan like that. Who could have ever given her such a brilliant idea? Well, me of course. Mia? Finally Mia's shown up. Good night, Scurvy. Thanks for dropping by. Mia Faye. It's been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne. So it's true. It was you. Yes. Ha! You're something else. But what are you doing here? That hair. It's Pearls, right? Tell me something, Dahlia. I want you to think back to that night one more time. You had just cornered Maya in the Inner Temple's garden. And then, in the final moments of the fight, you lost consciousness. I was stabbed by Maya Faye. Actually, Maya lost consciousness at the same time as you. She did? Not terribly surprising, since she was about to be killed. When she woke up, she was in the training hall.
That's when Maya decided she needed help, so she channeled me. She explained in a memo the situation she was in. She asked me what I thought she should do. She did that? I can't believe it. Of course, I didn't have all the details, but one thing was perfectly clear.
And that was?
I knew that you couldn't be allowed to wander free.
Free?
What do you mean? It was a race against time, so I wrote down 2 things that Maya had to do. Channel Dahlia Hawthorne as soon as possible, and lock herself in the sacred cavern until help arrived. So it was Maya who put that lock on there.
Yes, but why did you order her to do those 2 things?
If she hadn't done it, Dahlia Hawthorne would have been channeled by someone else. By one Pearl Fae.
Yeah, and Pearl was on the island too, so...
Is everyone going to accept that channeling is a thing now?
Seems like it. Pearls?
Yes, Pearl didn't properly understand the plan, so all she was trying to do was follow her mother, Morgan Faye's instructions. If she had succeeded in channeling Dahlia Hawthorne's spirit, things would have turned out very badly, to put it mildly.
So that's how it was.
Dahlia Hawthorne would have used the body of Pearl Faye to kill Maya at all costs.
Yes, it certainly sounds like that was the intent all along.
How dare you! I won't forget this. Why not just admit it, Dahlia Hawthorne? Your little plan was nothing but a big failure. Yes, another failure to add to the pile of shame, wouldn't you say? What do you mean by another? Think about it, Dahlia. Remember all your past crimes? Not a single one of them was a success. They all ended in failure. What? How dare you? 11 years ago. The fake kidnapping. Your very first crime. You got your hands on a $2 million diamond, but... after Terry Falls escaped and went to meet with Valerie Hawthorne, the truth was exposed. Shut your mouth! That wasn't my fault. It was because of that stupid oaf of a prisoner and that weakling of a policewoman. And then, 1 year later, you tried to kill me. Well, I'm still alive, but... you wound up killing someone else. As a result, you were sentenced to death. It's one stupid move after another for you, but it's no longer funny. You... wipe that smug, happy-go-lucky smile off your face. And now this. You've messed up again. You let Maya Fey escape. Even though she was right there in front of you. Mia Fey. Mia Fey. Mia Fey. You spinster. I was supposed to kill Maya Fey like I swore I would. And if only you hadn't gotten this spiky-haired jerk the guilty verdict, I wouldn't have been hanged to death. True. I think I misread that part. True. But I think you finally understand, Dahlia Hawthorne. You will never defeat me. What? What did you say? Whether you're alive, dead, or somewhere in between, you will never defeat me. As long as I'm around, you're destined to lose for all of eternity.
I remember what you said earlier in the trial. You said there was no way we could punish you, because you were already dead. What about it? Then you said, even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on, forever. That's very true, Dahlia. And that's exactly the punishment you'll never be able to escape from. For all of eternity, you'll have to remain as Dahlia Hawthorne. A miserable, pathetic, weak creature who can never win at anything. And for you, there is no escape from that. No hope of freedom. Since the day you were executed, the narrow bridge that once stretched out in front of you has burnt to a crisp. You're wrong. It can't be. How could I lose to the likes of you? It no longer matters. I don't care whether you win or lose anymore. The only thing I want is for you to come out of Maya's body right now. Ah! Oh dear. Yeah. I'm not ready. Not ready to go. Wow. Nick. Sis. Oh, they actually drew her lying on the ground. The judge is just like, anyway. Wow. Hey, King Brody, welcome. Now then, I assume you are the real Iris? Yes, I was just rescued from the sacred cavern. I must say, you and your twin sister are indeed identical from what I can see. In any case, it appears that everything has finally been cleared up. Mr. Godot, what happened to Dahlia Hawthorne? If you ask me, Your Honor, it looks like she went back to the hell she came from. It seems that Misty Faye wasn't the only victim of this crime. Maya Faye, as well as the young Pearl Faye, were also victims of this wicked and selfish plan. Yes, Your Honor. The tragedy of Medium Valley has finally come to an end, it seems. It would be best for everyone if no further attempt was made to channel that spirit again. Yeah, no shit. Your Honor? Yes, what is it? About this whole spirit medium thing. It's almost weird how comfortable you seem to be with the concept now. Well, to be frank, my younger brother is quite judgmental. He often criticizes me for not studying hard enough. That's why I made a concentrated effort to study up on the Quran channeling technique. Oh wow. And the judge scores 10 points. Hey, isn't that the New Year's issue of Occult? I've seen quite a few things in my many years on the bench. And in all that time, I've finally learned this one thing. Each case is different, and takes place in its own world, if you will. In order to fully understand that world, first we have to immerse ourselves in it completely. And that's where my brother and I used to differ. Never thought of it that way. At any rate, it's time to pass judgment in the case of Iris of Hazakura Temple.
Objection!
You're a little too fast with that gavel, Your Honor. What do you mean by that, Mr. Godot? This trial, it isn't over yet. That's what he means. What? Trite. Remember what Miss Evil Spirit said in her testimony? Huh? Dahlia's testimony? I caught up with her in front of the stone lantern. Then I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom and... It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that. I think I was stabbed. Just as Dahlia Hawthorne was about to attack Maya, she was stabbed and killed by someone. Yes, that's right. The person that was ultimately killed was the spirit medium that channeled Dahlia. At least Downham. No, Misty Faye. But who killed her? We still don't know who did it. This isn't over? Unless someone else is found guilty, the accused is still on trial. We can't let her walk until there's evidence that proves her innocence. I mean, we know that she wasn't... No way. But this court isn't prepared for any further testimony. The prosecution is ready to call our final witness. Final witness? This one will clear up the whole mystery. The mystery of who killed Misty Faye. Indeed. Is it really alright, Mr. Prosecutor? Of course it's alright, Madam Attorney. Very well then. Who is this final witness? Isn't it obvious? No, it's not at all. There's one person who saw the whole event and will put the final dagger in this case. Is it Pearl? Is it someone who saw the murder take place? Oh no. The very person who saw her mother killed in front of her own eyes. Ah, Maya, okay. You mean Maya? You can't. She can't testify after what she's just been through. We need to find the truth. The prosecution calls Maya Fade the witness stand. Channel Misty Faye and have her testify. Yeah. They should be able to channel Misty now, right? Very well. But first, we'll take a brief recess. We'll have to wait for Miss Faye to recover before summoning her. Once we receive the doctor's permission, we will proceed with the trial. Hey, Trite. I've got something to say to you, so listen up. What is it? I don't think much of you as a lawyer. It's always the same with you. You somehow manage to just squeak by without even a faint understanding of the case. Some beautiful woman always seems to come dashing in at the last minute to save you. You've got some nerve. But that's not going to happen this time. This time, you're going to have to do this by yourself. That's enough. This court is now in recess. Well. 2:56 PM. Defendant lobby number 1. I'm truly sorry about everything. You were working so hard to defend me. But I was missing all day, and we didn't even have a chance to talk. She's right. When I met Iris at the training hall yesterday, they had already switched places, and Iris was inside the sacred cavern. I wanted to at least be in the defendant's box today to root you on. Well, it wasn't your fault. You were locked up this whole time. There's something more important than that, though. I have to ask you. Save my game. Why did you help your sister out as much as you did? Huh? If you had tried to get help at the sacred cavern yesterday, you wouldn't have spent an entire day locked up in there.
My sister. I felt sorry for her. She was abandoned by our mother and never got any love from our father either.
Yes, but it was the same for you too, wasn't it?
Yes, but at least I had Sister Bikini, who was like a mother to me. If only Dahlia had come with me to Hazakura Temple.
Nah, she was already twisted by then.
I always loved her. Dahlia was always so smart, so strong. She never complained about a thing. That's why I promised her that I would help her.
Are you talking about the fake kidnapping case 11 years ago?
Yes. I wanted to be useful to her in some way. But as usual, I was too cowardly. At the last minute, I ran away. Because of that, Dahlia's stepsister, Valerie, ended up.
That was the case that wounded Mia so badly.
But things didn't end there, of course. Some people suspected that my sister was involved in the murder.
Some people? You must mean...
Yes, 2 defense attorneys. Mia Fey and Diego Armando. After poisoning Mr. Armando, who was getting too close to learning the truth, Dahlia even tried to kill the person who had unknowingly hid the poison for her. You.
That's right.
Iris?
There's one more thing that I have to ask you.
Yes? What is it?
On the night of the murder, the person that cleaned up the corpse of the victim, Elise Downham, was it really you?
Yes, it was me. That night, after I rang the lights out bell, I went back to my room. At around 10:30, I received a call on my cell phone.
There's a problem. Come to the inner temple right away.
I got on the snowmobile and headed for the inner temple. But...
The path to the inner temple was cut off, right?
Exactly.
We can't just leave the body here. So you've got to do this exactly as I say. Got it?
It was me. I was the one that received her body. The murder weapon had been left in her body so she wouldn't bleed too much.
Oh, so that was the murder weapon. Okay.
The staff that Mystic Elise always held.
I knew it. So the actual murder weapon was the staff.
Yes, that's right. I brought the body back to Hazakura Temple on the snowmobile.
But why? Why did you alter the body?
I didn't want anyone to know that the staff was the murder weapon. I didn't want to leave anything that would lead back to Misty Fey. So I dressed her in a robe and stabbed her with a shichishito. I wiped the blood off the staff's blade and left it next to her on the ground.
Iris, just tell me one last thing. Tell me the name of the person that called your cell phone. The real killer.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I can't do it. I can't say who did it.
I see. You had the sheath for the sword make it across the river. Victim staff updated. Had the sword hidden inside, the actual weapon used to murder the victim. Defendant.
Yes?
The judge is calling you. He wants to see you in his chambers. He has some questions about Dahlia Hawthorne.
All right. Well then, I'll see you later. There's something I want to tell you.
Oh, okay. Something she wants to tell me? So it's true. Iris cooperated with the real killer. Maybe even from the very beginning.
Phoenix?
Mia! How is Maya doing?
Physically, I'm not worried. She'll recover completely. But emotionally, she's been hurt very badly by this case.
I see. You don't mean she's learned who Elise Downham really was?
Yes. I went to the medical office and talked with her. I told her everything I knew.
But why?
Maya is stronger than you think. I knew she could take it. All of it.
What do you mean by that?
I want you to figure that answer out by yourself. The trial is about to restart. The real killer? Do you know who it is yet?
Iris wouldn't tell me who called her.
Still.
I think that just maybe I know who it was. That night, the victim was killed in the garden of the inner temple. And the criminal wasn't just there by accident. Which means that the killer knew of Dahlia's plan from the very beginning.
And one more thing. The victim was moved to the Hazakura temple side by pendulum. In other words, the criminal couldn't cross the bridge. That means they were stuck on the inner temple side for almost an entire day.
Exactly.
So the culprit was someone that wasn't in Hazakura temple the following day. That's as much help as I can give you. The rest of the battle is yours to win, or lose.
Okay, I've got it. Thank you, Mia. Finally, it's almost time to bring this case to an end. What exactly did Maya see anyway? And who was it that actually killed Misty Faye? Whoever it was, I have to prove it. Me, all by myself. Nick just can't figure out cell phones. Check her cell phone, Nick, yeah. I'm not sure actually, King Brolly. Well, yeah. It sucks that I have to leave it there, but I have to leave it there. Because it's getting late. So we'll have to finish this next time, unfortunately. Which is a shame. It would have been nice to finish it today. But I definitely need to rest my voice. Yeah, so thanks everyone for watching. So yeah, we'll finish this next time, and then I suppose we'll start up the next game, which is going to be Ori and the Blind Forest. How many streams has this case been already? I think it's been 5? I think 5. Next time we'll be able to put that badge behind bars. Yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Alright, I'll just see who's streaming tonight. Bum, 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 bum. Let's see. I Ate Your Pie is streaming more Mario Maker 2. So I'm gonna host him. I'll just host instead of raid. Your Pie. When is Skyward Sword and Investigations? Probably a little whiles away. I think I'll play the next Mario game on my list before then, which is going to be New Super Mario Bros. 2 on the 3DS. Okay, thanks all for watching. I'll see you all next time. See yous.